the forest. This is one of my favorite places, Campbell Valley Park.
Forests are full of hope. Nothing is wasted in a forest. New life springs up from the old. Creatures wait in hope for bits of food scurrying about being busy. Everywhere you look, there is something to see. From the tiniest crawling insects to the birds high up in the trees, this place is vibrating with life.
The forest is where I come to see hope in action. The thing about hope, at least theological hope, is that it's not evidence-based expectation or anticipation. It's not something that we can calculate or prove with data. You can't manage it or you can't force it. Hope in the theological sense is more about how and what we see God to be, how we are held in God. It is more about mystery. And like this forest, it's active.
The letter was to the Ephesians, the people living in the seaport town of Ephesus. Ephesus was an ancient Greek town off the western shores of modern-day Turkey. The letter is thought to have been written by Paul from his prison cell in Rome, a time when he wrote several letters to the fledgling churches he had started in various places, congregations of people who had never met Jesus and who were struggling to stay connected and to learn how to follow Christ in his physical absence.
It was a message of hope, a message of encouragement, a message of praise and thanksgiving, a message of love, a love letter to a group of folks, a group of people he wanted to keep focused on living the way Jesus did and keeping deep connection with God, with each other, and with all of creation.
Verses 17 and 18 say this: I pray that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, may give you a spirit of wisdom and revelation as you come to know him, so that with the eyes of your heart enlightened, you may know what is the hope to which he has called you, what are the riches of his glorious inheritance among the saints.
So with the eyes of your heart enlightened, you may know what is the hope to which he has called you. It's such beautiful imagery.
What is the hope to which Jesus has called us, I wonder? What do you see around you where you are today that is hope-filled or bursting with hope? Where is the light shining into dark circumstances? We see flowers and signs and flags and messages of love along the fences of the runway at the Kamloops airport in honor of Captain Jen Casey and the members of the Canadian Forces Snowbirds. We still hear clapping and pot banging at 7 p.m. for the healthcare workers who continue to look after those who are sick. We still see hearts in windows, and we see people wearing masks and keeping safely apart, even here in the forest on the trails.
We are looking after each other in so many ways, and all of that is light and illumination and hope.
Did he get back to you?
Yeah, that we were like giving another fucking go. I do.
Now here's something that poet and writer Jan Richardson talked about. She says we are invited to be illumined right here and right now, not in some future time, not when we leave this earth to go to whatever is next, but right here and now. And that this knowing that Paul talks about is bound to a life lived with the risen Christ, the Jesus that we actually can't see anymore. Jan Richardson also says that Jesus puts the power in us, not at a future time, but right now. And she also says that God's hope is not always comfortable or comforting, but what it does is that it opens us up. It opens us up to the mystery. It's okay not to know, not to have all of the data or all of the evidence. That's not what theological hope is. It's the hope that keeps us breathing.
What it asks us to do is to pray for illumination or light, so that we can imagine what we never thought we could imagine, so that we can bear what it is we never thought we could bear. That's a very different kind of power, isn't it? Different than what we think of when we hear the word power these days.
This letter from Paul, this hope that we are being asked to see from our hearts, is a survival strategy of sorts. It might actually be the biggest survival strategy that we have. Who knew that we would be calling this time that we're in and all the time after with a capital A, and that at least here in Canada, the time before March 17th or St. Patrick's Day will forever be known afterwards as the before time. Who knew? And so yes, a survival strategy, and a really practical one, and a real one, because this is the kind of hope that calls us more deeply into the now, into whatever circumstances we might find ourselves in. And it invites us to keep breathing, and to keep connecting, and to keep loving one another, and to keep being present to one another right here and right now in this moment. Because although Ascension Sunday and Jesus of Nazareth seems to have disappeared from this plane of existence, Christ is with us, and we are being called to find him all the time, right here, wherever we are. And we are also being called to work together with him in creating the world going forward. That is our calling. That is what we are being asked to do.
When people asked him who he was, he said, "I am the light of the world." May that light illumine the eyes of your heart and fill it with this mysterious and compelling and precious hope. And as we move further into this new aftertime, may we join together in the work of this hope that, if we look very closely, we see permeates all of creation.